Okay, ladies, we made it all the way around. I don't want you to get discouraged. I've actually had to rip and smooth and pin, like I showed you, 3 times. So what you want to happen is it doesn't look perfect. But remember, we have to turn it. We have a lot of work left to do on this. So what I had done was, and I'm going to make it so it's really, really exaggerated. It was coming and the backing was bunching over these points, okay? You can't have that. And I flipped it over and it was immediately obvious that there were spots where that was happening. We do have a couple of parts where it's pulling a little bit, but that's okay. Here, what's that? That's okay. We're going to cut and clip and all kinds of stuff, and those points should smooth out, okay? So once you've got it looking like this, then we're gonna flip it over. And we're going to find our middle, which is right here, the part where we sewed up okay? And now we're gonna trim off all the extra backing. So we're gonna start by trimming down the middle of this. Actually, I'm gonna do that from the back. So we're gonna start on the back here. I'm gonna cut down, try to do exactly halfway between my 2 lines, because that will be easier to do from the back. And you wanna make sure that your scissors are not cutting your top at all. So I'm just doing little bits so that I know I'm not cutting my top, because that, after all of this work, would make me cry. So I'm just cutting short little inch or 2 at a time. And again, you only get 1 crack at that, so, okay? So now I'm split there. So now I'm gonna flip it back over. And what you wanna do, I'm gonna do these 2 scallops to show you. So I'm gonna cut in here so I can, actually it's easier to come at it for me from this direction. Okay, so I'm gonna take my scissors and I'm gonna cut my backing so it's even with my quilt top. And I'm gonna do 2 scallops so I can show you the whole process. But you're obviously gonna do this all the way around the whole top, okay? Okay, so I have freed these 2 scallops. And now, because they are curved, we have to clip. So we're going to clip from here into your stitching. And we're gonna start at the corner. And I'm, at the moment, gonna clip in just to that inner line of stitching, and we're gonna see if that's enough. So we're gonna go around, and the reason this sounds a little bit like an experiment is because, as I've been very honest with you this whole journey, I had a real big problem with the first one of these I made, where the backing fabric wasn't big enough because of the size of the wedges. So we're fixing it and also finding out if it works on camera with you. So what we're doing here is, when we've got curves, we've got to release the tension along the curve, or your fabric can't turn. So what we've got to do is give the fabric spots where it can spread apart and turn into a curve, because it's a flat piece of fabric. So you're always going to clip here between your, at your seam allowances here, up to your stitching line. The rest of these guys I clipped into the first line of stitching. And now, actually the backing I can clip in a little further. What we're gonna do is we're gonna press it all, okay? So you're gonna take it to, I'm gonna bring the pressing mat to us so we can get it on camera, maybe. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna press this all back. We're gonna do this from both sides. And when we say press, we mean press, not iron. We're not gonna run the iron back and forth. We're gonna take these guys back and we're just gonna press it. And we're gonna hold it and let the iron do its job. And steam
So
it
this
back.
is going to take a long time.
Yes, it is. And this is the most, honestly, the most important step, because this is how you get it so that your edges sandwich directly together and they don't, you don't have one.
Back or the front
Yeah.
hang out.
You're gonna, so that when you're done, your back and your front look like this, because otherwise they start to do this and you have one pucker and the other, and then it looks bad. So,
Amateur?
yeah, there you go. That's a good word. Amateur. So you can see the point of the clipping here as we're pressing it back. See how they're all going on, they're laying on top of one another. And that is what lets the curve happen. So once we get this side, and you're gonna do this all the way around, then you're gonna flip it over, and you're gonna do it from this side. It's gonna look like a bunch of scraggly teeth. And this inner, the seam going up too. I forgot to show you on the other side. You're gonna press this back as well. Okay. And you can start to see if it's not curving nicely, you can start to mess with it with your fingers a little bit.
Or you can clip a little more,
Or you
too.
can clip more. Try not to burn yourself. Irons are hot. So what you want when you're done is this ideally is going to look like a scallop, a nice smooth curve, the way this one. The way it'll look when you turn it. So the nicer, the smoother the curve is now, the better it'll look when we turn it. So now what I'm going to do is trim the rest of the backing. Again, you do that from the top. You're going to trim it all the way around. I'm going to clip it, I'm going to press it, and when I come back, I'll show you how to trim the middle out and turn the whole thing out, okay? Good luck. So everything has been pressed. Our quilt is everything's snipped and clipped. We pressed all the sides back. We pressed from this side, then we flipped it over. We pressed the other side. For what it's worth, the other side that you would have thought would have pressed nicer, it was actually kind of giving us attitude. But now we press these guys back, and now we have to trim this center out. If you are doing a table topper, this would be the point of departure. You guys are probably going to do this a little bit differently than we're going to do it. But I know for sure you don't want to trim the hole out if you're making a table topper. Okay, the rest of us are going to go just cut it. We're going to cut all the way around. And then we are going to turn this right side out through this hole. All right, so now it gets exciting. There's nothing fancy. Do be careful, don't rip anything.
Right now it just looks like a pillowcase.
I know. There's a teddy bear. All right, and once you've got it turned, you're gonna leave your hand probably in there a little bit and use it to push out your corners. And now you're gonna see I have made some variations in my snowman and my presents. Yours are probably all the same color. So we're gonna push out all the edges, and then after we do that, after it's looking nice, you're gonna go back to your pressing mat. And this is the most important step in my opinion, because you're gonna press this bottom edge all the way around. You can leave one arm in there if you want to, but this is the point where we talked before about professional and amateur. I'm gonna show you how to start pressing it. I'm gonna come around because our pressing mat is over here. So this right now, if I just pressed it the way it is, amateur, that's the backing coming forward, okay? What we want is we want to press it, and we are gonna do whatever it takes to get it to lay flat so that it looks like our backing is, either you want your backing behind it like this so that you only see the top, or realistically you'd want it to look perfectly sandwiched so that you see that the back and the top are right on top of each other. And I'm gonna use my fingers, this is a finger workout, to roll it. What I'm doing is taking these fingers and sliding them back across my thumb. And when it looks the way you want it, press it. You're gonna press, you're gonna hold, you're gonna steam it in place. And I'm pushing down with my iron. You're gonna burn your fingers, but you press down with your iron because the heat plus the pressure is what makes this stay put, okay? If you have to, you can go back to the middle and stick your hand in and help your edges, whatever you need to do. But at this point,
Or a purple thing.
you can grab a purple thing or a knitting needle. Purple things work really nice. But what we're doing here is we're getting it so it lays exactly the way we want it to, with a nice, gentle curve.
And are you going to pin it again?
More than likely. We're gonna see how it looks when we're done here, and I'm gonna check on the backing and see how the backing looks. And then I'm gonna put some quilting pins in a couple of spots, because once we're done pressing, then comes the top stitching, okay? So we're gonna press it all the way around till we're happy with the way it looks, and then we will be back to show you how to top stitch this. And after that, all you have left is binding, and we only have to bind the middle. So we'll see you soon.